Every city has to have a nucleus where they work on culture, where the community comes together. Whether that community is learning something or seeing an event, that's why you have a Braun Center.
I look at it like we bring events here that wouldn't be here otherwise. The economic impact that we generate's, $100 million a year.
It is the heart of downtown Huntsville. It's why people come downtown.
It's hard to understand the impact that the Von Braun has had until you realize that there was nothing like this in North Alabama.
Today it's almost center core of the city, and being the center core of the city, it's what everybody goes to be part of a community, and part of a community that is forward-leaning, I guess you would say, a very intelligent community, and all the events that happen here at the Von Braun Center add to that.
The VBC to me is a place of memories, one that motivated me to go out and do bigger and greater things. There's hardly a day when I am working in a building, in a stadium, in an arena, there's hardly a day that I don't think about Huntsville. And of course the VBC.
My name is Bob Stagg, and I was appointed to the original Von Braun board in 1970. During the 60s, you had a lot of professionals coming into town, and there was demand for the arts. Arts events were happening in high school auditoriums. There was a small arena where rodeos were held, and that was about it. The commission from the city to the board was to operate a facility that had 5 distinct elements: an arena, concert hall, meeting space, a little theater, and an art museum. The first challenge was, where is the facility going to be located? There was a lot of debate in the city of whether it should be downtown or at the old airport. Then the challenge was, who can design this? Remember, this was the 60s. The architectural firms were great, but they weren't that large. We asked for architects to team together to propose on the design.
We were doing things to that building in 1975 and 76 that had not been done in other buildings, with HVAC systems and energy saving systems. Some of these things are not even being done today in new buildings.
Because we had so many things going on at the same time, there were times that we would meet 3 days a week to review the designs as they progressed.
I was scrounging through my old ticket books, and I found many of the tickets that I had from when I first came. So this one is Holiday on Ice, March 19th, 1975. After that, I saw the Harlem Globetrotters in April of 1975. And then the most cherished one is on May 31st, 1975, I saw Elvis. Paid $7.50 to see Elvis. So.
The whole opening was just mind-boggling. We had the circus, we had Holiday on Ice, we had Elvis. It was a new facility and everybody wanted to come and perform it.
I was a freshman in high school and they were building the VBC, and I was very excited about being able to come and see shows in a real venue, because before we would go to the old Madison County Coliseum or go to Nashville to go see shows.
The reception of the art museum was so positive that they literally outgrew the space provided and built their own facility across the lake.
At that time, there were some very significant and impressive bookings for events that were already in place. I guess the most memorable, not the most favorite, but the most memorable was that opening period of time, that opening week to 10 days. We didn't have any roadblocks. We didn't have any real issues along the way. Everything worked.
I remember coming to a UAH hockey match and watching hockey here. I can remember going to the Symphony and seeing some of the great pieces being played, the Broadway Theater League, and seeing Les Mis and some of the great classics that were on Broadway at that time. I can also remember, all the sports events that were there. It was a place that we brought community together. We learned something, and beyond learning something, we might have gotten just a little bit of culture.
Probably Elton John concert was one of my favorites, but I also really enjoyed being a part of Big Spring Jam. Big Spring Jam brought in the first really true music festival to downtown Huntsville.
I think the feedback from the public was just all positive. The largest complaint was about parking. But as far as the events, everything was just, oh, this is so much better than anything we had before. Just about anything you can think about happened during that first year.
When we opened Mars, I mean, this is the quality of dressing room you got. You know, the arena dressing rooms have been 1975 vintage dressing rooms, and nothing had been done to them since the building was open. People now come in here and like, wow, instead of hanging out on their bus, they want to hang out in here. So because of this, we decided in 2021 to take this same concept of dressing rooms and do it for the arena. So we completely spent about $5 million renovating the arena dressing rooms to bring them up to the same standard as this.
Change has been the name of the game at the Von Braun since it opened.
In '77, when I started full-time, the VBC was what was built originally. And somewhere around the early 80s, we started to realize and start to talk about we needed to grow. We didn't have enough space to meet the needs of the clients. So I think it was about mid-'80s we're adding on to the exhibit hall as we know it today, the exhibit hall. We added the west, and then we added a kitchen.
Arts Huntsville has been a great tenant in this building. All the local theater groups have been fantastic. They really love the Playhouse, and we're going to do some major renovations to it coming up this summer and keep our art friends happy for a long time to come.
That growth has continued with the VBC. After we added the exhibit hall, we immediately realized we needed a banquet hall, and we added what was called the North Hall, which is now Saturn. So that was added and opened in '87, I believe it was.
I mean, we opened Mars on January 3rd, 2020, and it was so exciting. This is my favorite venue. I'd rather see a show in here any day than see an arena show. It's just, it's so intimate. You know, the room is not deep, it's wide. Every artist I've talked to and every promoter and every tour manager I've talked to just absolutely love this room.
All I've continued to see here is just growth, demand and growth, and we haven't slowed down in 50 years, so that's exciting.
I don't think that anybody in Huntsville that understands business and economics would doubt the very positive economic impact that has resulted.
Oftentimes people in the past did not even know where Huntsville was. And now people say, I've heard good things about Huntsville. What's going on? It seems like y'all are just out there kicking it. And it's like, yep, we're having fun.
As we all know, Huntsville's growing like crazy right now. And I've seen that growth more so in the last 3 or 4 years than I had in the previous 15 or 16 years.
I'm like a lot of people. We all moved here to Huntsville, expect to stay 2-3 years, then move off somewhere else. The Von Braun Center made us a community, made a lot of us look at our plans to be here 1, 2, 3 years and decide to stay for probably the rest of my life.
The CVB's responsibility is to help sell everything within the city, and particularly from a convention standpoint, the VBC has been extremely beneficial to us. This really is the hub of economic development for the tourism industry, with bringing in all those conventions, but visitors like coming in too and seeing concerts and different things.
Just in announcing that we were thinking about doing an expansion of our convention center is the reason that I know Front Row is being developed. The hotels across the street are being developed because of that, in anticipation of expansion of the VBC in the future.
As I said earlier, the VBC has been changing ever since it opened, and it needs to change over the next 50 years. Huntsville is growing. There's no reason to expect that the growth will not continue and that the demand will not track the growth. I can see 50 years from now, the VBC, I don't know where we'll put all the facilities that will be needed.
One of my favorite things of the VBC, I'll say our relationship with the Huntsville Havoc. We've sold out probably 25 games in a row from last season to this season, and it brings so many people to the VBC day in and day out.
If there's anything that I would want to say to Huntsville right now, is don't take for granted how well that building has been received and how well it is seen, how well the image and the reputation actually are throughout the country.
I think the most fun part is that I know that this is going to carry on to my children and grandchildren, and that's exciting to me as well.
We have two things to offer. We have space and we have service. And I think our employees are our #1 asset. I give a lot of credit to the staff for being so successful.
If you look at the pictures from 1980 when I first moved here, and look at the pictures now, it's not the same city. It's not the same place. It's changed so much that, as I say, the Von Braun's been the catalyst for a lot of change, a lot of growth, and making our community into something that somebody would enjoy being